Hi guys. Hi guys. In this video, I'll talk to you about data cleaning. So in the previous video, I showed you how to code the questions into variables. Make sure if you have latent variables, which are variables measured by or manifested in other variables. For example, engagement on Facebook, it is manifested by the number of the follows, following the page, commenting, sharing, liking. So engagement is when you like, when you share, when you comment, when you follow. So there is no measure on Facebook that tells you your engagement score is this, but the engagement score for this post or for this advertisement is this much, but they show you the number of likes, the number of shares, the comments, and the followers on the brand page on Facebook. So these are what we call it here. This is engagement. All these together make up engagement, an engagement variable. The same applies here. For example, we have based on the model, we have order risk factors, which is the delivery time, the guarantees and all that. So for example, also over here we have the crowd engagement, C1, crowd engagement, the number of likes from the crowd on any advertisement, the number of follows on the brand page, the number of positive comments, negative comments, if they see like positive or negative comments, the story, if they are exposed to a story or see a story. Over here, this is the dependent variable. The dependent variable is the likelihood, the extent to what you might hit a like or share or follow if you are just before you purchase, or when you are satisfied, or when you are dissatisfied, and so on. So these are this is the data in a nutshell very quickly. I just copied the data. We coded the data in such a way that everything is numeric except this, the home country. I just don't feel like this home country question is very important. So I'm just going to go ahead with cleaning the data. First of all, I added here an index. From last time, I actually added an index here, just a serial number to give each row a very unique identifier. Then we have the age of the participants, as you can see. I would like to show you how to check for missing variables. Most of the time your data will be very small set. So over here, for example, this is, I'm gonna get the average of all the ages below, because I saw an age that is 39. So here's the average age is 22, so I'm just going to give it to 22. So this is how I dealt with this missing data. Dealing with missing data, you might feel you need to delete the whole row, depending. When do you decide to delete the whole row? If age is part of a very important part of your conceptual model. A conceptual model is a model where, for example, over here, this is a very simplified conceptual model where you say that the intention to engage on Facebook is correlated with the order risk factors, crowd engagement, behavior, or trust components. Of course, this model is not a very good model. In principle, you need to start your investigation with let me show you. For example, there are certain theories like the theory of reasoned action, as you can see here. So the theory of reasoned action, as you can see, the behavioral intention, the intention to purchase, the intention to engage, the intention to participate, whatever intention it is, it is influenced by the attitude toward toward it and the subjective norm. So based on this theory, you will be studying attitude and subjective norm. Over here, my student didn't have any of that. So let's take a look at this theory. This is a more advanced theory. It is the theory of planned behavior. The theory of a planned behavior kind of is the bigger umbrella that in-houses the theory of reasoned action. So your research, the first step of your research is to find out what is it that you are measuring very clearly, the intention of a certain behavior, and then find the model that is already existing in the literature. Because you're just a bachelor or you're just a master's student. If you are a PhD student, then you have two other options or three other options. First, you could come up with your own theory or your own conceptual framework that is all fresh and all new, and you can do that by multiple qualitative interviews. So the interviews will result on a theory. You can stop there, or you could just test this theory by asking the right questions. So you highlighted the measures and asked the right questions afterwards and created this conceptual framework. This is one thing. Second thing that you could do is you take this model, for example, and add an extra construct. For example, this is the theory of reasoned action. They added to it perceived control. With perceived control, we have a new theory. They called it the theory of planned behavior. So you could add, for example, a measure that is very specific to a certain industry. I've seen a research that looks into weight loss and health in the health section, and they claimed that they're it's interesting in fact. I'm not saying they claimed because I'm in a negative connotation, but they added the need to do something. Like if you need to lose weight because of health issues, then they added that into their model. So you could add an extra measure that is either very generalized. This perceived control is very generalized, so this is what makes it a theory, or very specific to a certain industry. For example, in the health sector, losing weight, sometimes the need to lose weight. If you are on a lot of pressure to lose weight because otherwise you might get into health issues, serious health issues, then they added this into their model. I thought that was real interesting. Now this is one option. Another option is for you to say, I'm gonna come up with my own theory, either from qualitative approach, from bottom up, or either by saying that I am going to modify a little bit of modification based on the industry again, but you might need to drop a certain measure and add or replace it with another. Yeah, the first example was adding an extra measure, and this measure might be very general, then you have a totally completely theory, a new theory, or it could be very specific to that industry, or you could actually replace this by another, but you need to justify that. The process of justifying that as a PhD student is you need to look into related theories, not only this theory, but make sure that you're telling us that you surveyed all related theories, and all related theories are directed toward a certain direction far away from your research question. Then you have to, around your research question, you have to survey all related research. So first of all, you surveyed all theories and you found out that this theory is the closest, yeah? Or two theories are the closest to you. And you might take some of this and some of that, yeah? And then make your own theory or propose your own theory. Then survey all related literature. So this is the second step. With all related literature related to your field, you're trying to tell us that these people did this, this, and this, and that, but none has done what I'm trying to do, my question. And then you could solidate your argument if you want to further solidate your argument and you have the time for that, especially if you're a PhD student, you want to score high. Then you can also look into other theories, from irrelevant fields that could help explain certain aspects within your research question. But most importantly is to survey all related theories and their conceptual frameworks, then say, I would like to use this theory and that theory molding together, or focus on one conceptual framework and try to modify it, or come up with your own merged conceptual framework from two different models. But you need to have an in-depth literature review on related theories and then related research, and very clearly show me the gap. Show, not me, but show your audience the gap. Now, if you are a bachelor student, all what you need to do is to follow, and a bachelor student just follow an existing research. Do not get into the idea that, oh, I would like to investigate and answer this question. Okay, good. Answer this question based on an existing framework. Because the idea of us working together in your bachelor study, unless you want to go for a master, if you're just not going for a master for now, the idea is for us to spend the time training you on data analysis. Master students, on the master degree, you will be trained on how to come up with something like this. So you need to start with something like this already. Also with master students, I suggest, if you are not into academic research as a master student, just survey models, already existing models, because then whatever data you collect from a survey has more chances to give significant results. You got my point? But coming up with your own model like this is challenging. You really need to have a very good sample size and very good literature, and you still need to tell us in your presentation what is your related theories, but this time you need to show us the related theories based on the components that you are trying to measure. So you need to tell us what kind of theories that goes under trust components, crowd engagement, order risk, and so on. Then you need to talk about related research, and of course with related research you will come across people using this kind of sophisticated model. Now the problem is, or not the problem in a way that it's negative, but the research problem is for you to, one of the things that you need to do is to reason why you haven't used this or modified this. Yeah, so you could have added, for example, subjective norms here, normative beliefs, affective trust could have been here, and cognitive trust could have been here, perceived control. So cognitive trust could have been here, affective trust could have been here, and then crowd engagement could have been here, and then order risk would have been here. So order risk, cognitive trust could have been here, affective trust and crowd engagement could have been here, but then you missed to ask questions about the person's attitude. So you could just somehow, I'm thinking just out loud, that it is very difficult for you to, as you can see, it's very difficult for you to give a nice presentation telling us why you haven't why you haven't used this model. It's research, yeah? It's research. It's not just up to me. I'm just gonna put these all together and run analysis. Then your research study would be just correlation. You're just trying to find out if this is correlated to this or this is affecting this without the need for a model. Then this is a nice little project. But for a thesis, a real academic thesis, not like a project thesis, like a project in the master program at TIU, this is okay for a project. you came up with your own whatever on top of your head kind of variables and get them connected, related or correlated to this. This is okay for a project thesis. But for a thesis, you need to base it on a model. Should be based on a model. And it's not a difficult, in fact, thing to do. It's easier. It makes your life easier. The model is already there. You just need to list down the questions under each construct. And that's it. Just to study what each construct is about. Literature will be very clear for you. It will be very available for you, nicely done, and you just need to ask certain questions here in the questionnaire and collect data with your professor, and that's it. So it's not really rocket science if you start the right way, which is understanding what is it that you are doing. Your question is about intention to purchase, intention to engage. Then use the right model. Talk to your professor about the right model, and then just list down all possible questions. And even all possible questions, you can survey the literature and make a table with each researcher and what kind of questions they ask under each of them, and then make your own based on that by eliminating some questions that is not relevant to your research question or industry, or also justify why others are selected. And that will be a very easy way to do research. Nobody will be criticizing your model, easily criticizing your model, and that would be an awesome way to do research. Now, if you are a PhD student and listening to this video, then another way that you could, in fact, also, if you want, you could model, you could couple and this theory with another theory. For example, Professor Tajuddini has in fact used this model, the theory of planned behavior. He used the theory of a planned behavior along with another theory, I think the value-based theory, something like that, value-based theory, and theory of planned behavior. Theory of planned behavior and value-based theory. I think it was a different, let's see, here, is this his research? No. Okay, here, I think this is his research, yeah. This is Professor Tajuddini from TIU, and he's exploring the decision-making process for Airbnb, decision-making process of hotel accommodation using value-attitude behavior, and the theory of planned behavior. You can guess now that the value-attitude behavior crossroads with here attitude in the theory of planned behavior. So find something interesting like that, how you could find any other attitude related behavior, theory, so that you could use it and couple it with it and mold it with it, so that you can use a kind of a modified version of that. Yeah, so this is for these kind of advanced topics are for PhD students. So this is the starting point if you're doing this. Okay, back to the topic of cleaning. Why did we talk about all this? This is very important because, as you can see here, we have demographic variables, attitudes towards the targets, personality traits, whatever it is. You're collecting more data. And this data, if you are using it as part of your model, you want to find out how this is a moderator or mediator, for example, here, then not here. Then you would definitely need to. You will definitely need to. Yeah, here is also another example where all these may be influencing behavioral beliefs, normative beliefs, or control beliefs. the social, the information, or the individual personality. This is here. These are the background factors. With this model, you are trying to say, I want to see if these are actually having an influence over these three, and from there, this will influence behavior. Yeah. So it's interesting. It is based on how important these are. Since we have only one a variable here, then we're just gonna let go. Also, over here, as you can see, I have extremely big numbers for 1 week, so I can easily figure out that there is a problem here. This is a monthly, so one wrote 5 million. I think they just meant maybe 500,000 yen. Over here, they probably gonna add to make it acceptable. I mean, I'm sure these numbers are in man-yen. In Japan, it is in 80,000s, in thousands, as you can see here, 80,000s. So this is probably a good number for students' expenses per month. Not a good number, in fact. I feel bad for them, but yeah, it's not a bad number. Okay. And over here it's so just make sure that there are certain Excel functions that helps you test for missing values. Also, that shows you or computes the number of digits. So returns the number of digits. So in this case, you could in fact use it to find out if any of the where the digits are less than, for example, a certain number, and then multiply these when detected. When you give it a 1 as a signal or a flag, and then you can multiply it by 1000 to fix the problem automatically. But over here, this data set is really small. But this is also one way of doing it. Let me just, I don't memorize, I'm not memorizing the, here, Excel function, return number of digits. This is rounds. This is for rounding. I would like it to return the number of digits. They're all rounding down, so integer number. They're rounding the number. Here. So how do you count the number of digits? Oh. This is with Excel? Count. Here. Let's take this and see if it really counts the number of digits. I forgot how I used to do that. I wonder. Control Shift Enter. It wasn't something like this. Now it is working. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we can see these are all 5 digits. This is 6 digits. So this is another flag I'm gonna put in here, equals if this is or if or this is less than 5, or this is a great, not equal to 5, I could have just put it, not equal to 5, give me 1, else give me 0. What happened here? Okay, so now I can see where the flags are, and if you want, you can take conditional formatting and you just put it greater than equal to. So I'm going to put it as equal to 1. So other than, so if it is less than 5 or greater than 5, then it's 1, meaning it needs attention. So this is 4. I don't think, maybe this is not a bad number. In fact, if it's 6, it's not a bad number. In fact, 5 to 6 is not a bad number. This is a good number for living for 1 month. So I'm going to just take a look very quickly over, for example, if less than 5 or greater than 7. Yeah, that will be it. So now I can just save it. Now this is it. So this is 4. I don't think a student can live on 5,000 yen a month. There is a bit of an error here with the zeros. Let's take a look. Where else do we have a signal? We already fixed it. So this is how I was supposed to start my investigation with you. So for example, here, as you can see, if you have a number of digits, you can find the number of digits by this formula and hit Control Shift and Enter. And then with this, you will find the Control Shift and then Enter. And with this, you will find the number of digits. And you can highlight the number of digits by saying if it is less than a certain number and greater than a certain range, then flag it for me with 1. So this is how I fix, for example, this kind of issues. Let's take a look over here. I would like to show you how to test for missing values. So again, I'm gonna here, Excel, missing blank cells. So how do you find out missing values with Excel? Oh, I actually have it all in another Excel sheet, but I'm too lazy to go pull out my Excel sheet. Let me just I would like to count for rows. This is counting rows. In fact, I would like to count columns. Count pairs. This is very interesting here. This is really very interesting. This is really very interesting. I've never seen something like this nice. It's really very interesting. Countif maybe. How to fill blank cells? No. How to use Excel is blank. Yeah, this is the function, is blank. So here, test if a cell is empty. So is blank and the value to check. But I would like to have a range. Does it use a range? This is the problem. So it doesn't use a range. But there is a formula that I used to use. Is blank. It uses only a value, not a range. So it's not going to give me what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's not going to give me what I'm looking for. Let me see here. I have some. You see, it's not going to give me what I'm looking for. Excel is blank for a range of values. Yeah, this is what you need to do. So if is blank, actually, I wonder. That are not empty. Count A, so it's the opposite way. Okay. Count A. And count these. We have 225, so these are 225. Over here, we know that we have a problem. We have 135, so for you to, there's another way to get the missing data. I have it in my other Excel sheet, but for now I'm just gonna go very quickly. I would like to show you that all the answers that you're looking for are on the internet. You just need to know what is it that you need to do. So the first thing is we learned today is how to check the number of digits, just to make sure that the digits, all the digits are just fine within range. The second step is for us to see if there's any blank values. So let's take all around. The most important ones are these ones, the ones that have the ratings. These are the focal part of the model. As you can see here, all of them are just fine. Over here, the story part has a problem here. Many people just didn't, probably didn't understand what do you mean by a story on Facebook, or thought that it's irrelevant. So over here, this is, I'm gonna signal that there's a certain problem with that. Probably gonna drop it from the model because there isn't enough data. So I'm gonna give it a nice highlight. So I'm gonna drop it off the model. Everything else is all right. This is a problem here. Buying from a Japanese store. So here there's a problem collecting data here. And where else? Oh, we haven't used the same. Yeah. There's certain problems here also. Where are you coming from? As you can see here. Some students just not willing to tell us where they come from. In any case, we also highlight this. Now, the decision, what do we do with missing data? As you can see here, this kind of data I can let go without it, the home country where you come from. So I'm gonna let go without it. I decided now, it's not important for my model. Now, this one, visiting a Japanese store is also not important for my model, really. The rest of the stuff, I have also here one problem. This one would have been very interesting if we keep it in the model. But as you can see here, I have the likes, the follows, the comments, and the negative comments, positive comments. A story is really interesting to investigate, since it's a new feature, relatively new feature with Facebook, but unfortunately I will have to get rid of a big number of of data points here and there, just because participants did not complete this question. So I'm going to get rid of the crowd engagement with a story. So this we're going to get rid of it. So over here, I'm going to start a new sheet and call it a clean data set. So now we are ready to copy everything with holding down the Control key and A, and just paste it over here. And now I would like to get rid of this demographic data. Then I'm going to get rid of this. And then I'm going to get rid of this as well. Yeah. So over here, we have very nicely organized data. As you can see, I put on some colors. Oh, wait a minute. There is one more thing that I wanted to check with you. In fact, wait a minute. Before all this, with the data cleaning, I would like to check if there is text. I fixed this, but I haven't looked at this, so I need to do the same thing with this variable. So for example, over here, the online budget, this is so many digits for an online budget, so I'm not going to manipulate it. I'm gonna just say that this cell over here, the online budget, so if this cell online budget is less than this cell, which is your monthly spending, then you are fine, right? Then it is 1, else it is 0. Sorry, I closed the thingy beforehand. I don't need here. So here you are fine. This is the first to check. Over here there's a problem, obviously. You can't just spend more than your monthly income. So now it is fine. Over here I have also a problem, you see? So you can actually signal it with this conditional formatting, highlighting when it is equal to 0. So when it's equal to 0, highlight it for me. So over here I have a problem. What's the problem here? Less than 5,000. So I'm going to just put it as 5,000. I don't have a specific target. All right, so if there's no specific target, I'm just going to take, I decided to take the average. So all this you need to write notes to populate and to fatten up your thesis. So you need to say, at this incident, this value number, whatever, subject number 15, I ran the following quality assurance for the data, which is finding out if this here is greater than or less than or whatever, and explain what you did. So over here, I'm going to have to explain that I took the average. Okay? So I just took the average because they don't have a specific target. Over here, from 20 to 30. So maybe I'll put it as 25. Over here, none, 0. So now here, it depends. It depends means average to me. So I'm going to just average. Oh no. It depends means average to me. I'm going to be a little patient here. And average all these on top, for example. Okay, so over here, 1, 2, 5, for example, which is the average of the range. I'm going to take the average of the range. I only buy things that I needed at that time. Okay, so she's not a regular purchaser, but I'm just going to put it like that. less than, okay, I'm just going to keep it as is. 5,000 to 2 yen. Here's your range is 7512. The same here, it's going to be 5. I'm taking the average of the ranges. So this is one of the things that you need to mention in your thesis as well. If it's under a certain number, you probably took the number. Not much, you put 0. You put all these that you encountered. 25 to 30 is, I will put it as 275. Okay, and then keep going this way. But it's very important that you deal with your numbers. Now, this is because it is a very small data set, it's all right. But with bigger data set, you need to automate this. You need to have automatic rules. And you need to know how to check if you got any problem. Oh, no. It should be something like that, the average, I think, roughly. I think 10 yen, this is what they meant when they write average 0. Okay, 10,000 to 15,000. So I'm going to put 1 to should be a 5 here also. I think it's okay. None is 0. Roughly like whatever roughly estimate average. Should do it in a very more standardized way. Over here, this year is 2000. Oh wow, they're giving us the percentage of monthly average. That's really nice because this is what I'm trying to do, the next step in fact. So over here, no more than 1000. Okay, then I'm going to keep it as is. About this much. Okay, I'm going to keep it as is. I'm going to put it as 5,000 then, if it's per 2 months. 7,500. And over here, this is 20 yen? Yes, so 25 yen. And so on. So this is how you do it. I'm going to just put it as 4,000 over here. And yeah, get rid of the text. So this is a very important, I don't know, so 0. Or you could have put it as, I don't know, I'm tempted to put it as an average. The surrounding average here. A very nice fix for you. And over here, I don't know, there's no number, so I'm going to take the average here and put it here as well. Another average. And get rid of all this. If it's less than a number, we're just going to stick to the number. %. Okay, so I'm gonna multiply this times this. Ah. Okay. 4,000 then. I rarely buy anything. Okay, 0 up to 4,000. Okay, So now all these are ones. So count if, are they? I can see little reds in here. So this means that this value is not less than this value because we got it as an average. So I'm gonna fling, you see, this is quite interesting. So now I'm gonna get rid of one digit and now it's okay. So be careful when you getting the averages. Probably this is an average, no, but this is quite weird. This is just Ichmayan. Did I get something? It is the same number. So I believe this is probably an extra zero here then. This is how we, yeah, because anyway, Ichmayan is very little. It's too little for a living expenses. So now it should be, you see how we can find issues in the data? I am very tempted to go back and, now this is fine, but I am still very tempted to see to check if any of these rows is equals, if any of these values is less than or equal to 20,000, which is a very low number. Count this range if it's 0. So I have ones here, 20 yen. It's unbelievable. So some students are living monthly on 20 yen. I can't believe it. I'm gonna just add 0 to it. I think it's some data collection. This, for example, I'm gonna add 0 to it. It's a data collection problem. This is definitely a data collection problem. Nobody can live on Ichima-yen. I'm sure about that. Can't live with this money, with this much money in Japan. That's not true. You can't. I don't think they can. It's the rent, for God's sake. Now here, this is the kind of things, hidden things that culture doesn't matter. You understand it? Yeah, you can't live with this much money. It's not enough for even for rent here in Japan. So now I believe this data is looking nice. The next step is for us to copy this data and add it to this sheet as a clean data set. So what are some of the variables I'm gonna fling here? This one, I'm not gonna take it. Okay, so this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. Anything wrong with this one? What variable is that? I think it's an if statement that we used, yeah. Now we don't need it anymore for checking. Anything here? No. So this I'm gonna get rid of it here. And the story, I'm gonna get rid of it. And this one, I'm gonna get rid of it. Because this one, okay, do not get rid of anything right now. I got rid of the home, yeah. I'm just gonna get rid of this column because this column is just for checking certain rules. Now in the clean data set, I'm gonna add another set here and say expand, shrink. Expand, shrink the data set. Over here, I could add proxy variables, or get rid of some variables that I think I have a lot of missing data. So this, I have a lot of missing data. I'm just gonna delete this variable. No need for it. So much of missing values. The same applies to this here. A lot of many missing values, and this one as well, many missing values. In your thesis, you need to report that you deleted this, and this. You dropped these variables because they have many missing cells. This is the thing. Second, now I'm going to expand the data set. As you may guess, I'm going to add a proxy variable. What is a proxy variable? A proxy variable, for example, when you are talking about the GPA of the country, it is a proxy that tells us about the standard of living. The same applies here. I might want to have a percentage here of the online spending from the total spendings here. Here's 0, so it stays as 0. Wait a minute, this is, it keeps on giving me accounting, but I need it as a number. I need 2 decimals. Okay, so now it should be fine. Yeah, it's a small data set, so it's easy to verify without automation. So this is a variable that it's a proxy. We call it, for example, online spend the percentage of online spend. And let's count here the variables, all good. So we kind of dropped some variables that has a lot of missing data, and we added a variable here. We call this a proxy variable, a variable that is a combination of 2 other variables. Okay, so here we have, it's very important that we use this variable because income is very sensitive information. Don't want to dispose the, I can easily say it's 40% of the monthly income rather than just saying a certain number that might not mean a lot to people who don't understand our currency. So I hope, guys, this video has helped you see the sensitivity of the data, and data cleaning is not really an easy task. There are certain steps you need to follow. First of all, you need to, and I'm not done yet, by the way. So over here, I'm just gonna put here clean data set use. Like use this clean data set. Here, I'm gonna put use this clean data set, or this is the final clean data set. I'm gonna take all this, and I'm not done yet. There's a little trick here. So the only thing I need to do is to make sure that everything here is a number, and I need to put a certain here. I think online spend is the only one that I would like it to be a number with a percentage. So here too. But all of these are numbers now, and none of them is a string. And they are ready to rock and roll, except one thing, which is here. We need to delete this extra. I inserted. We need to delete this extra row that is not meaningful to us, and this is the data set. So you can save now this data. You can just copy everything by holding down the Control key and A, Control C to copy, File, New, and over here we go. You have your data set, so you can just say data set, and you can mark it probably by June 11, 2021. If you are still collecting data as a PhD student, and this is just for a conference and this for preliminary analysis, so this is how you do it. And now you have a very nicely clean data set and no missing values, hopefully. There's also other there's other Excel functions that you could use to test if you have NA cells and so on. You can look it up. It's not very difficult, and I can also share it with you in class or with my set of slides on Moodle. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you benefited from this video. Keep your Excel sheets all saved in a nice place where you can understand the progress of your research, because you might forget, as we've done earlier. This is the original data. This is the data prep, and I'm gonna just put it data prep here. Here, data prep. And the next Excel sheet is the data set for use. So this, I'm gonna just save it exactly. Oops. I'm gonna save it maybe in the same. Yeah, I'm gonna save it here as data set for analysis if you want, or you can just put it data set and give it probably a number. I should do that. Why? Because it helps you understand, if you're coding your data in a certain way, that you understand that this data set over here, data set 0611, for example, you know that this, because it's opened, okay, that you know that this data set is the data set for you to use. Okay? Thank you so much, guys. In fact, one other advice is data. You need a folder for that, I suggest. So all this data should be taken from here and put in a separate folder for data and data analysis. So now you know that this is your original data, very messy. This is the data preparation that you've done. Actually, I was gonna put it in 2 different Excel sheets. I thought that we need too much to clean the data. Sometimes it takes me a while to clean the data, but I just found out that, you know, we don't really need that much time here. So data prep, or data encoding or coding, and cleaning. So you can easily understand what is it that we've done. So this is the original one. This is the data encoding and cleaning. This is the data that we use for analysis. Thank you so much. See you then.